Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel, The Great Western Guy, and for the first time in quite a while, welcome back to my model railway. Today I'm going to be reviewing a brand new model, at least to me, from Dapol. Right then, so the model I'm going to be reviewing for you all today is Dapol's Manor. In this case, specifically 7802 Bradley Manor, in the BR lined green with the late crest. I've wanted a Manor for quite a while and saw one for a reasonable price and decided to go for it. So here we are. Right, let's take a look inside. Right, so opening the box we find... So we've got the owner's manual, which is... well, it gives you a general history of the Manors, some specifications of the model. Okay, sprung buffers, of course, Samus trains, you'd love that. Toolless DCC decoder and speaker fitting, that's quite interesting, that is quite good. Why it's out of focus, I don't know. Tells us about the accessory pack, very nice indeed. So yeah, it tells us how to disassemble it, maintenance, DCC. And a parts list. Ooh, that's very good actually. So we get a parts list as well, should anything go wrong. Right, let's get into it. Right then, well, obviously the model is going to be under this, and it is. Excellent. Right, I mean, let's get it out. Yeah, it looks alright. Right, let's put that to one side. Oh, and I can see we've got a detail bag. And something I don't think was mentioned in the instructions or the user manual. So we have etched number plates. We have what I can assume is a steam heat pipe of sorts. We've got the toolless, well, we've got the DCC fitting tool. But most importantly, if I can get that to go to one side, come on, we have a Cambrian Coast Express headboard. That wasn't mentioned. That is pretty cool. Well, thank you, Dapol. Let's put that to one side. And now the star of the show, the loco itself. Well, this is my first Dapol model, so I don't really know what to expect. Ooh, okay, that's lovely. That is genuinely a lovely shade of green. Right then. Okay, well, weight-wise, the tender is ridiculously heavy. At least by my standards. I'm used to Hornby's, say, Castle class tender. That is ridiculous. Well, ridiculously light. And, well, here she is. Bradley Manor, in all her glory, with all the white bits. But yeah, honestly, this is looking like a really, really nice loco. Well, for cab detail, that is ridiculous. Right, I will show you guys some more things closer up. The Manor class was a fleet of 460 steam locomotives designed by Charles Collett for the Great Western Railway, first introduced in 1938. A total of 30 locos were built, 20 before World War II and a further 10 post-war, under the oversight of Collett's successor, Frederick Hawkesworth. The Manors were conceived as a lighter counterpart to the Grange class, offering similar mixed traffic capability but with a lower axle loading. This made them particularly well suited to the Great Western's more lightly laid secondary routes, especially across Wales and the West Country, where heavier engines could not operate safely. Equipped with a standard No. 14 boiler, the Manors were slightly less powerful than the Granges, but their 460 wheel arrangement and relatively light weight gave them excellent route availability. They delivered a good tractive effort, which was sufficient for both medium-duty freight and secondary passenger services. Their versatility allowed them to operate across a wide range of duties, from hauling summer holiday expresses across the Cambrian coast to working pick-up goods and stopping trains in rural areas. Despite their relatively small number, the Manor class gains a loyal following among crews and enthusiasts alike due to their dependable performance and elegant proportions. Their usefulness kept many in service well into the British Railways era, with withdrawals starting in the late 1950s and ending in 1965. Thankfully, an amazing 9 of the 30 are preserved, with our example here, Bradley Manor, being one of them, and she can be seen today in service on the Severn Valley Railway.
Right, here we are then. Dapol's Bradley Manor. And one thing I am going to say is I'm incredibly impressed by the loco to tender connection. Because obviously, in the packaging, they were separate. But, you know how you connect them? It's absolutely fantastic. Look at this. So, you just sort of push them together and there you go. That is now connected. Dapol, that is brilliant. Anyway, let's not get bogged down about some awesome coupling system. Let's get into the details. So, right out of the box, the level of finesse on this model is genuinely quite impressive. The BR lines green is crisp, vibrant and very well executed. The lining is sharply printed with no signs of overspray or misalignment. The crest on the tender is also very clear, with fine details that hold up even under closer inspection. Something I absolutely love about this model is the electroplated safety valves, which, as you can see, is, well, it just looks fantastic. However, one little thing that does detract from that is this little bit here. As you can see, there is quite a noticeable gap, which does detract slightly, but at the same time, it is very, very uncommon, at least to my knowledge, to see electroplated parts like that. So, well, I'm definitely not complaining. Right, turning our attention now to the nameplates. So the nameplate quite clearly reads Bradley Manor, and to my knowledge at least is made of metal. So, well, it seems to be etched rather than printed, which is a huge plus. Turning now to the cab number plates. These have been tampo printed, but they look absolutely fantastic, and thanks to Dapol, we now have a pair of etched plates to stick on top of these, should you want it. Personally, I probably won't, because, I mean, they look fine anyway. Although actually, under closer inspection, I don't know if this comes across on camera, but there does seem to be some sort of, I don't know, fluff? I'll see if I can get that off in a bit, but if not, that's not particularly pleasant actually. Well, another area in which Dapol has done an absolutely tremendous job is the cab, as you can quite clearly see. There is a metal etched tender 4 plate here, which does seem to cover the gap between the loco and the tender very, very well indeed. But look at the absolute plethora of detail here. You've got some all the gauges have been picked out. You've got the reverser, that seems separately fitted. The regulator is definitely separately fitted and has been painted to such a high standard. Also, I believe we have a firebox LED, which does mean we get a realistic fire effect as the loco is moving. I believe it did say this in the instructions, but yeah, that is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I believe, so you've got your water gauges, you've got your brake, you've got your ejectors, you've got your injectors, reverser, sanding gear, drain cocks. Wow, I'm genuinely astounded. that is quite impressive. Right then, let's take a look at the front of the loco. So, my example, 7802 Bradley Manor, has quite a few of the details on the front picked out. So, for example, the smokebox dart, the hinges, the buffers, and the coupling hook. Well, the reason I chose this loco was it's quite unique, and well, it's a very, very nice difference, and it's done incredibly well. Right then, so, as is the standard these days, the buffers are sprung, as are the tender ones for that matter, and we have the number plate on the front, which has been done absolutely fantastically, as well as the shed plate at the bottom, which is very, very nicely done. Now, turning our attention to the sides, or the other side in this case, we have a reverser rod, which I believe is made of plastic, which, as you can see, it does flex a decent amount if I touch it, but it looks very, very nice indeed. The valve gear, in my opinion, looks a tiny bit chunky, and this section here is made of plastic. Quite why Dapol made this decision, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, these cylinders are, well, lovely looking, but quite interestingly, this loco, being rated for radius 2, has the drain cocks fitted, which should mean that shouldn't interfere at all with the running of the model. Right then, turning our attention to the back of the tender. So we have a separately fitted vacuum pipe, as well as a steam heat pipe, I believe is what that is. And quite interestingly, it's been cut off just above the NEM pocket, so it doesn't actually interfere with the back coupling. The coupling in question is very, very nicely free pivoting. It makes use of kinematics. As I mentioned earlier, the buffers are sprung again. And there's, well, it's very, very, very nicely lined. So the livery application on the tender itself is fantastic. The lining is, well, it's crisp. There's no misprints. The logo itself, or the British Railways logo, this is the Lake Crest, as I did mention. It has been done very, very well indeed. The coal load actually is removable, although I don't quite know why you'd want to remove it. It looks, I'd argue it looks very, very good. And now turning to the bit of the tender you never normally see. This is the end that is obviously coupled to the cab. This is part of the ingenious little system that couples the loco and the tender together. As you can see, it is very, very free to pivot, which is, well, it's lovely there. And yeah, you've got all sorts of handles picked out. I'm not going to lie, I've got no idea what these do. I'm assuming one of them's the handbrake and the other one is this got a water scoop? Yeah, so I'd assume one of them's the handbrake, the other's the water scoop. You've got little buffers, which I assume would have been there to, I don't know, keep the... I'm not even going to pretend I know. Anyway, yeah, so you can clearly see that the coal load is removable here. And yeah, it's very, very nicely detailed, with rivets and everything, considering you never see this bit. Oh, and before I forget, compared to the electroplated dome, the chimney, yeah, it doesn't look particularly good, does it, compared to that electroplating? But, I mean, it's definitely better than what we've seen from Hornby, which, well, it's a start. But also, there is quite a noticeable seam line to where it's attached to the body, which, you can take it from me, it definitely, it stands out a lot more than it does on camera. Right then, let's have a look at the performance. So, I hasten to add, I've not run this loco in, because, well, I don't quite have the facilities for that just yet. Yet being the key word. But yeah, if the performance is anything as good as how the model looks, I'm going to be very, very happy indeed. So, I'll put her into forwards and turning up slowly. Does it work? Ooh, that does work very, very nicely indeed. Ooh, I have noticed there is a bit of a screeching from the tender. No idea if that comes through on camera. But also, especially at the slower speeds, I don't know if you can see the tender is jolting slightly. Especially if, yeah, there does seem to be a bit of a tight spot in the loco's wheel rotation. Especially going forwards, it's at about 11 o'clock. Blimey, that's... Well, the good news is the valve gear looks very, very nice. I take back the comment about it being slightly chunky. I think it looks quite good and quite refined, actually. Let's see what the gearing's like. So that is... that's 50%. To be fair, these locos can't have done much more than 75 in real life. Because I believe they were a lighter variant of the Grange class, I think. That might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I'll probably have put some sort of history or story of the loco towards the start of this video to introduce it. But yeah, if that's 50%, what's 100%? You know, that, compared to quite a lot of other models, I'd say it's incredibly reasonable. Incredibly reasonable. Right, you know what, I'll see if I can get a run in, and then I'll do a bit of a running session. But yeah, thanks all very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy, do leave a like and do subscribe to the channel. That would be much appreciated. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the running session, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.